just an asshole. He's just an asshole. He's just an asshole. Let him go. What have he fucked?
I say, Audio Theory Radio, boy.
All right, welcome to another episode of Audio Theory Radio. Today we have the magnificent Zach.
Yeah. Check out my tits.
And we have the
Josh Gar, the warrior.
I'm trying to think of something for Josh, man. Like, cause I try to change it up every time, but I'm not good and witty at the beginning of things.
Josh Gar, the janitor.
Yeah.
Vingar, the retard.
Vingar, the retard.
We also have
The retard.
And Travis.
We also have the malevolent. What's the word?
Maleficent? Are you trying to say
I'm
that?
trying to say malevolent.
We have the elephant Josh.
We also have Josh Gar, the janitor. I'm done.
The janitor?
I don't.
It's the janitor.
No, the janitor.
Bloopers.
I said janitor.
Blooper reel.
Sounds like a dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
It reminds me of the way that dude on Jurassic Park said it.
Yeah, a dinosaur. A dinosaur.
Mr.
blood.
D&E.
Mr. DNA.
That's what he says, but it sounds like he's saying, Mr. D. Lee.
I'm Mr. D.Lee.
Diddley.
I'm
Mr.
going to talk
Diddley.
to you about dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Well, a long time ago, dinosaur blood would dry on a tree and get caught in the sap. God fucking damn it. So anyway, before we get into the episode, I would like to talk for a second about this recent blip drama. Apparently, as everybody knows, Blip TV, not Blip TV, but Maker Studios, who I believe own Blip TV, were bought out by Disney.
Like Marvel was bought out by Disney and Star Wars.
And here recently...
Dude, you'll be seeing fucking Darth Vader fighting Iron Man.
Yeah, and here recently, it has come to my attention that many blip stars and a lot of really popular blip stars like Jesu Otaku and Otaku. Oh, and was it Leon Thomas who does Renegade Cut? Their show was dropped by Blip. And so I look in my email and boom, our show was also dropped by Blip. And who knows why Blip is doing this? Maybe it's because Blip now being, owned by Disney is trying to weed all the shitty people out, but it don't make sense because a lot of good people were cut.
Like who?
Renegade Cut, Leon Thomas, and Jesu Otaku.
What do they do?
Renegade Cut, that dude does, it's basically a music sort of, not music, but, movie discussion where one episode he might talk about like a bigger universe of Tarantino movies or stuff like that. Just a lot of, he did like the top 10 craziest decisions by, fucking Stanley Kubrick.
Every movie he's ever made.
Nah, yeah, every movie he's ever made has with the movie's black and white, but it has to be a green table kind of shit.
Yeah.
But so it's kind of weird. Maybe Disney wants to turn Blip into like a Disney thing. Who the fuck knows? But as you all know, I have been posting to YouTube since day one, and thankfully we have. Because I feel more bad about the people who only use Blip. And now they have to scramble around to get all their footage archived by September 1st. And so yeah, who knows, maybe we'll get some more news about this.
My question is, where does Angry Joe put all his shit?
Angry Joe is mostly YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Although I have seen some of them on Springboard and...
doesn't he have his own website? I know he puts them on...
I think he does.
He puts them on that guy with the glasses, but what video player is it using?
Most of the time I see it, it's usually YouTube on...
Because I notice he doesn't put shit on Blip.
Yeah. It's mostly... I think he mostly uses YouTube. So does the Angry Video Game Nerd and...
Angry Video Game Nerd does use YouTube, but he uses his own website too.
Yeah, but most of the time.
Did you see the new Angry Video Game Nerd?
No, I didn't.
He quit.
Oh yeah, I saw that, but that's he didn't necessarily quit. He came back because of the.
What was it? He was playing
Simon's Quest.
He was playing the fucking
Penn and Teller game.
the Penn and Teller game.
Yeah.
The goddamn bus simulator.
The fucking bus simulator. Oh my god. So, all right. Enough about all this. Today we're going to talk about.
First, I have to say this. I saw the most ugly fucking car the other day. It was like a fucking.
He drove past a mirror truck.
Yes, I did. No, it was a fucking new Camaro, Pepto-Bismol pink,
Ooh.
with fucking pink rims.
It was probably a graduation present for little spoiled Miss Priss.
Nah, it was my sweet 16.
I want a Camaro.
I want a Ferrari cake.
Yeah, the Ferrari cake. Oh my god. So today
cool.
on the show we're going to be talking about drugs and music. Is now basically the whole thing is going to be, alright, does listening to music, especially certain types of music, while stoned or enhanced off of some other kind of substance, does it make the music sound better? Or does...
Go to a rave and ask everybody. The music sounds better.
And does...
High on Christ.
Does musicians who constantly make music on drugs, be it weed, acid, shrooms, does that make their music better? And when their entire career is mostly made up on drugs, when they finally do quit drugs, does it make them suck, basically? So I guess we will start with talking about listening to music while high. You know, because if you're not aware, I have quit smoking weed since in the past year because of it started triggering these crazy anxiety attacks. I'm not going to go into it, but it was fucked up. I know Josh hasn't smoked weed in a long time. Maybe.
I want to.
Yeah, I know you want to so bad.
So I'm like the lone man out.
Yeah, Zach is the lone man out
They
here.
don't drug test you where you were.
The last time I remember you smoking weed, Josh, was about maybe 2008.
Yeah.
It was a good while ago. So, but Zach still dabbles in the green plant. So
Want some hash brownies?
I got the sex and rock and roll part.
so
Well, I get that too. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
yeah. I was sex, drugs, and rock and roll until about a year ago.
Well, now
I'm just
sex,
Travis.
sex, wine, and
Yeah, sex, wine, and rock and roll. That's me now.
Yeah.
God damn
It's
it.
wine and Angry Orchard.
I am a fucking wino from hell. Okay.
a wino.
Yeah.
So, I guess how would we start this off? I guess maybe let's talk about the first time we've ever listened to music while high.
Yeah.
That's like
Problem
every
was
time
marijuana. Long-term memory loss.
Weed actually made me remember things.
Let me think.
But you remember things you didn't remember.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Like the first time I was able to sit down comfortably and listen to it.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I'm getting at. Like where
Yeah.
the first time it's just you smoke and you listen to this record. I don't really know what. Maybe I would say whatever I was getting into when I moved in with you. Because like before that, I would
So then that was a lot of like Mars Volta,
Queens, and
good stuff to listen to high. Like,
good stuff.
really good shit. to
Really
listen
good
to
shit.
high.
And then, like I remember, 21st Century Breakdown came out, and I had never got a Green Day CD the day it came out and ever listened to it fucked up. So that was like the first Green Day album I got to buy as an adult and fucking put it in and smoke one and read along the lyrics as I went along. I enjoyed it. I really did. Like even though, like I said on the last episode, I couldn't fucking understand the story, like it's all over the fucking place. I don't understand the characters' motivations and shit. I understood it then. Like I don't understand what, like it all made sense to me, but then when I tried to be like, so this new Green Day album is about, like total fucking,
Yeah.
it was gone. But then that was around the same time I was really getting into Mastodon, so like, shit, I would say the first album I enjoyed high and thought that I want to get high again and listen to that would have to be Mastodon's Crack the Sky.
Yeah, that album was awesome high.
And
that
then-
album was awesome high.
And then I got Colors from Between the Buried and Me. That is still my all-time favorite BT Bam album. And just getting high and listening to it is fucking awesome. It's like one whole 78-minute song.
Yeah, definitely. Now, what about you, Josh? Have you ever
System of the Down.
System of a Down? Yeah, they're a pretty good.
They're a
pretty
good
high
one.
album.
Yeah, they're a really good one to get
System
high
of
to.
a Down and Marilyn Manson.
No, I can't listen to Marilyn Manson high because like I can.
If I get high and listen to
Well,
Marilyn
I was
Manson
listening
now,
to,
I would probably make fun of it.
What do you call it? The first one.
Yeah, the first two, man. I could
Yeah,
definitely
Portrait was
listen to
great.
Stone.
Portrait was great, and then fucking Smells Like Children.
Smells Like
That is a drugged out album.
Yeah, that album. It is mandatory that album should come with acid tabs in the fucking lyric book. I mean, really.
Yeah, you should be able to lick the lyric book.
Yeah, you should be able to lick the lyric book and get fucking high, man.
Yeah, that's about the gist of it.
What if there was like one that had like cocaine slivers in it or something? Scratch and sniff.
Yeah, scratch and sniff cocaine.
Scratch and snort.
Like, give us some memories of like listening to some of that high.
I don't know. I literally would just fucking smoke weed, and I'd go out in the garage, I'd roll up a fatty, smoke it, and I'd put my headphones on, and back in the old CD player Walkman days.
Yeah, the Walkman.
The Discman.
Remember the one? Remember the Blue Alien?
Yeah, the Blue Alien on all those.
He'd always
commercials.
get laid in those commercials. It made no sense to me. How's this fucking goddamn Blue Alien getting laid?
Right.
Basically, I guess he's getting revenge on Captain Kirk because Captain Kirk is a human fucking all the alien chicks. He's an alien fucking all the human chicks.
It's the shit you think about when you're high.
Priceline.com.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do that. Or taking like a 20-ounce bottle after school and going to punch a hole,
No.
put tinfoil in it, and sit behind the house.
Yeah, dude. The old tinfoil
The old
pipes.
tinfoil
oh my
pipes.
god. So, alright, I guess mine would be the first time, it wasn't a very good experience.
That's
Was it Trans-Siberian Orchestra?
Yes, it was,
And you
dude.
saw goddamn fish?
Yeah, dude.
you were seeing things.
Okay, wait a minute.
Were
Going
you,
back.
Are you sure you weren't smoking weed? Were you smoking crack?
Alright, man, look.
See, I know. I have a story that happened before that, and I just remembered it. Like, I was with Karen, and it was like, no smoking, no smoking. Whatever. So that whole year, I didn't smoke around her.
Yeah.
This when she wasn't at the house. It was like me and Scott token up and shit. But he had given me a whole fucking Black and Mild blunt for my birthday, and I smoked half of that in the bedroom. And then, like, I was so fucking high. I felt like my knees were like gears, and they were grinding up against each other and shit. I don't fucking know. It was like 5 months since I had smoked, and I had smoked a lot this day. And then Whole Lot of Love came on the radio. And this was when we had the stereo hooked up in the bedroom, where the speakers were on the fucking wall,
Yeah,
separated. It sounded so good, and then it got into the part where the music started to break down. Here comes the solo and all the jamming and shit. And then goddamn, the part where Robert Plant is like, ha, 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 ha. It's going from speaker to speaker. It's going, ha, 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 ha. And I'm like, stop. I'm just laying there in the bed, and all of a sudden I hear, Zach, come cut your cake. We're hungry. And I'm like, fuck. So I just go in there, I cut one big ass slice, and I grab the cherry, and I go back in the bedroom.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, I'm sorry
So
to interrupt
that's
your
totally
story.
cool, man. That's a funny little story there. But yeah, like getting on that is I was a much bigger fan of smoking weed every once in a while, so I get like an amazing freaking mind trip of a high. Hence the fish that I saw. But once you start smoking weed frequently, like, you know, maybe 2 times a day, you sort of just get used to the high, and it's more of like a body chillness. And I wouldn't see shit anymore.
I never
Well,
saw
I
shit.
never did.
What happened with me?
I don't know what's going on with your head, dude. Like, I've
The
never
only time I
seen-
saw something was that one day I brought over that the salvia. We mixed salvia.
salvia,
weed.
yeah.
They were
The
like
salvia
seeing
will trip
colors,
you out.
like a trippy music video. That was great.
Man, oh my god, we'll get on that in a minute. So, all right, the first time I'm gonna mention 2 times because one's a bad experience and one is a fairly funny experience. They're both pretty funny, but all right. So, I remember Scott gave me
Something to give to me.
a little bowl of weed to give to you,
Asshole.
and yeah, I was like,
He fucking asks me when I go to fucking Piggly Wiggly, so how'd you like that? What are you talking about? That weed I gave you. You didn't give me nothing. I gave it to Travis to give to you. And you fucking come home that night and I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, so yeah, he gave me a little bowl of weed to give to you, and I was like, man, I really want to get high because I was having a rough ass time, fucking working at that Piggly Wiggly and shit. I was like, this shit is pissing me off. So I smoked the bowl, and I had just bought Trans-Siberian Orchestra's "The Lost Christmas Eve," amazing album by the way, and I turned it on, and I turned out the lights. This is probably the first bowl I had in half
out
a
the
year or
lights.
more, and I was so fucking stoned. The first song on this album is what do you call this?
You have Tangerine Dream?
Faith Noel. Yeah, you were with me when I bought the Tangerine Dream.
Really?
Yeah, at the Goodwill last year when you found the L7.
Oh.
Yeah, so anyway, it's Faith
Tangerine
Noel, and it's pretty much this big freaking rock opera fucking progressive metal kind of sounding version of like of the first Noel song. And I closed my eyes and I'm sitting there listening to it. All of a sudden, like in my head, I'm seeing this big concert out in a big snowland. There's Santa Claus, Frosty the Snowman, and Jesus is hanging out.
You sure you weren't watching South Park?
They're all at the concert, man, and like I'm picturing the camera panning away around like you're watching a concert on TV, and all of a sudden when the solo starts coming in, I fucking see Slash, and Slash is playing the fucking solo and shit, and I'm
Did
just
he have his
like,
top hat?
yeah, dude. Well, it was like colored like Santa Claus colors and shit.
You missed
That
some
was
good weed, apparently. Jesus
No, because Travis always sees shit.
awesome. Yeah, dude.
I remember,
So-
I remember when we were younger, doing our old Two Talls porch, and Travis was like, dude, you see that fucking boot in the tree? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's a boot. It's an upside down boot.
He can't handle his
Then
drugs.
it turned into mass hysteria like the Leprechaun, and me and Nick, we were all starting to see the boot in the tree.
And then April comes over there. What the fuck is wrong with you? There's a boot in the tree. Don't you see the boot?
Oh yeah, I remember you guys talking about that
Oh,
stuff
God.
before.
So check this out, alright? The solo's going, Slash is playing. All of a sudden, I see fish swimming, actual fish,
Swimming.
swimming in the air. And then, all of a sudden, like, it would start flashing. And it would go day and night, day and night. And during the daytime, in the flash, the fish looked like normal fish swimming in the air. But then, once it turned nighttime, they would turn into fish bones swimming in the air, dude. And I was just like, oh my god, let me get out of this. So I fucking just hopped up, turned on the light, and was like, holy fuck, what was that? But then, that's what made me curious. I was like, okay, now I want to hear everything high and see what happens. Okay, so the next story is, there was a night that you had some weed, and you and I fucking smoked a lot of it on the back porch, and you went to sleep, and then I went and smoked some more, and I fucking went in the living room. Mom and Dad were passed out.
Was I working at the time?
I don't even know, man. This was had to be 2003, 2004.
Never had. Ah.
And so mom and dad are passed out in the bedroom.
If it was then, it would have been before the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah, this was,
I remember I got a quarter from Christina and she never picked it up.
Yeah, this had to be before the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. But what happened is I have the Gorilla Phase 1 Celebrity Takedown DVD with all their first music videos. And I was like, man, I really want to watch these videos high as shit, man. And so I put the DVD in the player and I turn it on and I could not find the DVD remote. And on the menu of the DVD, there's just like this sort of whom, whom kind of sound. And I'm looking all over the living room for the DVD remote. And then all of a sudden, I'm not looking for the DVD remote anymore. I'm looking for a transporter device to send me back to Earth because I am on a spaceship, hence the whom, whom kind of noises. Like in my head, I'm like, I need to find this transporter, man. I need to find this fucking transporter, dude. I gotta get back to
That
Earth.
sounds like when you used to get high and you would narrate Max Payne style. So I got up and I grabbed my cigarettes.
And I lit my cigarette with a smile on my face because I was happy that I was about to have some sweet smoke in my lungs. So
And as I
anyway,
walked outside,
I'm looking all over the place, and in my head I'm like, I'm on a spaceship. And mom and dad were aliens asleep in the bedroom. I'm like, I can't wake the aliens up. Fucking, I need this transporter device, man. And then, I finally found it.
You need Jason Statham.
Whenever I would walk into the kitchen, I didn't hear the repetitive synthetic noise anymore. Whenever I walked into the kitchen, I would just hear like Broadway music in my head.
Oh.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I'd chill in the kitchen and just hear Broadway music and then go back in the living room. I was back on the spaceship. But yeah, so there's that. And so I didn't start really listening to music high until around the time you moved in with us, because I had pretty much quit smoking weed until then.
I'm an enabler.
And that's when I started buying albums heavily all the time. And I remember whenever I would buy a new album, like I could not wait to get back home. I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to smoke a bowl and listen to you when I get home. And that was like the highlight of the weekend for me. Was I was buying albums every week, and I'm like, which album do I want to listen to first? Stoned. But I'll tell you, when Josh brought up the Salvia, I remember
Oh my god.
I was doing the Salvia, and I was sitting there reading the lyrics on Cradle of Filth's.
That shit starts fucking coming up the pages.
Yeah, Cradle of Filth's, what do you call it, Godspeed and the Devil's Thunder. I was listening to that album and reading the lyrics. All of a sudden, I don't know what it was, but something in the lyric books freaked me the fuck out. And I'm sitting on the couch, I throw the lyric book across the room, and I'm like backing up into the couch, like, get it the fuck away from me. Get it the fuck away from me, man.
I just remember Travis, like, you did like this.
Yeah,
That's-
You did like that, we're like,
That salvia with weed was a killer combination.
yeah, that was pretty fucking cool.
I remember when I was on Salvia with y'all, Stasi was playing Guitar Hero.
Yeah, she was watching Guitar
Yeah,
Hero
dude.
while we were
Oh
doing salvia.
my
You could
God.
see the things coming at you. It's like, oh
Yeah,
my god, I can
all
reach out and
those
touch 'em.
notes, the notes felt like they were exploding in my face. Just
Yeah.
boom, boom,
Yeah, and you're
boom.
watching where it's
like little
exploding.
landmines
It
and
was
shit.
great.
And
Yeah.
then the fucking singer grabs the camera and he fucking sings into the camera as it's panning around, and I felt like the singer grabbed my face and he's just dragging me around the stage. That's what I felt like. I'm like, okay.
It was great because we're all feeling the same thing. It was like a fucking mass hysteria.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Goddamn Guitar Hero.
I remember we had smoked weed that night you first bought Guitar Hero, and I remember,
We all failed horribly.
yeah, I remember tripping out over
You were tripping out over fucking plants in the window.
Yeah, because I was like, look at
Look
this.
at the detail.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
the graphics on Guitar Hero is not what we were looking for when we played
Yeah.
this game.
But I wasn't talking about like the detail. I was talking about like, okay, these characters are in a basement, and there's a window in the background, and you can see the grass. And I'm like, that's kind of cool that they put that in there to further make you feel like you're in a basement. Because when you look outside, you see the ground. You're underground. And I was like, wow, they didn't have to do that. But they did. And I remember just going over that for like an hour and a half, fucking stoned as shit,
'cause
talking about the grass.
That venue lasted about an hour and a half.
That's all I stared at was the fucking grass in the window. I was like, wow, dude, these guys care so much, man. They put grass in the window.
Then it comes with a Gibson SG.
Yeah. So, okay, now that we've gotten like our first high experiences listening to music, now
There's one more I would like to touch on. Have you ever done DMT and fucking listen to music?
man, when we did TMT, we had Baka Beyond and Enya playing. So we were trying to get more into like a tribal kind of finding your third eye kind of thing.
One time I had a little bit, and I didn't get anything from it because I was sharing with Tim and Derek fucking burns the shit. Like, this pissed me off so bad. Like, Derek was taking a hit, and it was right after me, and the fucking shit explodes. I don't know what he did, but bowl and goddamn DMT go everywhere, and I just see fucking cherries, millions and millions of cherries. I'm like,
Oh my god.
anyway, I got a little bit, and I was gonna smoke it before bed. Fucking put my headphones on, got my iPod, and sitting there in bed, taking a couple of hits, and I listened to Homecoming from Green Day. That was fucking amazing. I felt like I was marching in a goddamn parade, and then I felt like I was...
Was it the Black Parade?
No. I felt like I was, in some kind of... That song has a march to it, like a marching beat. So I just felt like I was at a parade. And then, at one point in the song, like, I felt my... I would say spirit, but it felt like my body was like cartoon form, like getting sucked into something, you know?
Yeah, dude.
And then like I got sucked into the mixing board. In the studio, I got sucked into the mixing board. And I'm sitting there turning the levels up and down and shit, and I can like tune out all the guitars and everything else and just listen to drums and percussion. Turn that down, vocals. And then I can just, like, I can also double the sound. Like, if I want more drums, I can make, like, 10,000 tracks of drums. And it's just drums. And I can just, it was fucking amazing.
That's awesome.
And
shit.
it died, like, the high was gone when the song was over. So it was just fucking perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome as hell. That's awesome as hell. Like, yeah, DMT, man. I bet that really, I bet your spirit really left your body and went into somebody's studio mixer.
That would be awesome, because that's what it felt like.
That's what I felt when I was doing it. Like I was flying through a tunnel. It felt like my spirit left my body.
Yeah.
And I'm flying through a tunnel, and on the walls of the tunnel was golden, shiny Arabic writing and hieroglyphs. And then like I see at the end of the tunnel like these energy beings, and like the closer I got so close to the end of the tunnel, and then I came back in my body, and I was like, oh, what the fuck was this shit, dude? But so anyway, now would you say listening to music high is better than listening to music sober?
I don't know.
Nah, not
Yeah,
really.
so that's what
I can
think.
enjoy music either way.
Mhm.
I guess I get into it and like overthink more when I'm high.
Yeah, that's
And
how
like
I
I
am.
like to I'll analyze it more if I'm high, but if I'm not, I'll criticize it more.
It also depends on what kind of high you're talking about. Because you got ones where you can hallucinate, weed where you're just more calm.
Okay, on weed.
Yeah, on weed. You know,
Then
that's
you're just more laid back and just enjoying it. Doesn't necessarily mean it makes it better. It's the same thing. It didn't change. It doesn't physically change it. It just
your perspective sort
You're
of
just-
changes. Your listening
Yeah.
perspective sort of changes. Because I will say, I would
In a way, it does make certain bands easier to listen to.
Yeah,
Especially if it's something you've never heard of before
Mhm.
and you're a little skeptical about it. If you smoke one and put it in, it might not suck as much as you thought it would.
yeah. Because I'll say I've had several albums that I've bought that when I bought it and listened to it, I didn't really get into it that much. But then when I listened to it high, I wound up really liking the album more, and thus listening to the album to this day. Like take Mogwai for instance. Like when I first bought that Mogwai album, the Hawk is Howling, I didn't really get into it that much. I was like, yeah, it's just some cool experimental kind of
Like Pelican.
instrumental rock. Yeah, kind of like Pelican. And I was like, it's pretty cool, you know. And then I didn't touch it for like a fucking year. And then I got high as fuck, and I was like, I want to listen to something I haven't heard in a long time, you know. And I turned on the Mogwai, and I was like, why the fuck have I not been listening to this? And I did the same thing with Chemical Brothers, fucking Dig Your Own Hole, because when I first bought it back in 2004, I wasn't really getting into it that much, but then a couple years later, I got stoned as shit, turned it on, and then my body was moving with the music. I was like, this is fucking cool as shit. And then I also had this, I was like, okay, if, you know, I'm listening to all these modern albums high, there are clearly essential albums that you need to listen to high. So when I started picking up all the Pink Floyd and the Yes albums and stuff, I was like, this I need to listen to high. And to this day, Close to the Edge by Yes is one of the greatest get high songs ever. Because, you know, that song lasts as long as a joint does. And by the time you're finished with the joint, the song is going off, and like it's almost as if that song is built for the smoking of a joint, because it starts off, it's pretty frantic, it has heavy moments, it has soft moments, but then about halfway through the song, it goes into this weird shit. So that's the point where, you know, you've had 7 or 8 hits on the joint, and you're stoned as shit, and you're like, oh man, this is getting really fucking crazy. And then when the joint is finished, by the time the song is ending, the song is swelling, it's fucking getting crazy, and you're just like, it's like the orgasm at the end of the song, it's the orgasm at the end of the joint, if that makes any fucking sense whatsoever.
we
But
still need to get high and go see the Wall laser light show.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, Laser Floyd.
we got
I've
stoned
seen
as
it.
shit.
It was great.
We got stoned as shit and watched the Wall movie at Matt's house, and
And then I remember we got stoned and me, you, and Stasi watched Wizard of Oz.
yeah, Wizard of
with
Oz
Darkseid.
with Dark Side of the Moon. That was pretty cool. I wouldn't say it's amazing like
It's
people
not,
say.
because you can do that with any fucking thing.
Yeah, I
we
mean,
used to do it with cartoons.
Yeah. We
All
used
the
to do it with
time.
cartoons.
like The Wall goes amazingly well with some Dexter Laboratory cartoons.
Yeah, it does.
So I
Hell,
mean,
we used to watch the what was it? The preview channel.
yeah, the fucking preview channel with some music on. No,
It's also cool to like flip through channels when you're getting high listening to music.
yeah, because it's kind of like you start to feel like if you're watching the news too, like you're like, are they singing? What I'm hearing? But like, no, I will say, weed, I guess, enhances the listening experience. But like y'all said, I don't think that weed makes the music better.
Nah, if it wasn't good to begin with, it ain't gonna be good at all.
Yeah, you can't get high.
That's alcohol, because, if you get a fat chick, she gets prettier the more you drink. Alcohol will do that. Like, this music's great.
Like, you can't get high and be like, dude, we're totally listening to fucking Michael Bolton.
Yeah, get stoned and be like, dude, man, I'm loving this Bieber album, man.
We're gonna do some Lady Gaga tonight, guys.
Well, I like Lady Gaga.
I can get into some Lady Gaga.
But that'd be so much better high.
It is.
Watch her videos, like, oh my god. Or
The videos are something you'd have to watch.
we would have to watch the Ron Jeremy Wrecking Ball parody. High.
That's hilarious.
That is.
But yeah, Lady Gaga is all style over substance, and I have a lot of complaints about her because I'm like, damn, there are moments where she reminds me of like KMFDM and Lords of Acid, and then
She does.
that 30-second moment
She's
will
like.
be ruined by her normal Lady Gaga shit.
She's like. What if Madonna and Marilyn Manson had a child?
Fucked. Yeah. What if Madonna and Marilyn Manson fucked?
And then Marilyn Manson fucked the child.
There you go. I'll allow it.
Or Marilyn Manson gave birth to that child.
Yeah, there
He
you
didn't have
go.
titties.
Marilyn Manson gave birth. Yeah, Marilyn Manson got fucked by Madonna while he's wearing his mechanical animal's boob suit.
Gave birth to a
Fucking
child.
gave birth to a fucking child. That's Lady Gaga.
So he was the mechanical bull in her video.
There you go, man. I believe it. I believe it to be true.
Travis's Believe It or Not.
So, okay, now let's flip this. There are a lot of bands we listen to who do drugs and have done drugs and made music. Will you say, do the drugs make them better musicians, or maybe it sort of opens their mind a little more? In a way, it kind of does make them better musicians.
It depends. That's a good question, because you look at like, a lot of bands when like System of a Down. A lot of their best music was written.
Fucking
Well,
acid.
They were all on
Acid,
acid
weed.
and mushrooms and weed.
But there's a certain point when you do it so much to where it physically starts messing up your music playing.
Yeah, like Kurt Cobain.
Yeah,
When
like
when you start screwing up, when you can't play your
screw up
instruments
live because you're too damn high. Like, check this. When Eric Clapton was part of Cream, when Cream was out, Eric Clapton was such a big fucking alcoholic that he was so drunk during a concert one night, they just laid him down on his back and they fucking lowered the microphone to his mouth. And
he just laid there and played.
yeah, he played the whole fucking set just laying on his back drunk as fuck. And guess what? People say he killed the shit out of it.
I bet he did.
So
And
it's
fucking
like-
Clapton is God, dude.
Yeah, so it's like, damn, some people can handle that shit.
Yeah, some can.
Where some people just can't.
Especially alcohol is one of the biggest ones that ruin bands.
Yeah.
Like Metallica. Dave Mustaine was a great musician. He should have stayed with Metallica. Alcohol was the biggest problem. They could not stand his drinking. He
And
drank all the
but then
fucking
they
time.
also Metallica.
Well, now what?
Back after Dave Mustaine was fired, they called Metallica Alcoholica.
Yeah, well, because
all of them drank. Fucking all of them
and
drank.
that's what Saint Anger was about, was trying to get over their alcohol addiction. They were just
And then you have the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who were all doing heroin. They were all fucking doing heroin.
Yeah, you can just look at him and be like, dude,
They all look like recovering.
you need to go to the hospital.
They all look like recovering heroin junkies, man. Like,
no,
all
they're
of
not
them fucking
recovering.
do.
That fucking
Of course,
guitar
there's-
player didn't
there are
recover.
bands that sucked beforehand, like Creed. That sucked beforehand, but even the alcohol did not help. Drugs and
Yeah.
alcohol didn't help at all.
Screw that.
Here's one guy, the fucking Man in Black.
Yeah.
Motherfucker was strung out on drugs and alcohol, and then he passed out on stage, and then he stopped.
Now, what era of Johnny Cash's music did that happen?
That was actually
Because a lot of his shit in the 80s kind of sucks.
This was like in the 60s or 70s.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. 80s.
He was-
that
I
was probably
might be
because
wrong.
of drugs. It ruined him so bad that.
Like, is it Rick Rubin that made the American albums with him?
Yes.
Yeah, Rick Rubin.
Or
like,
Rick Ross.
really. Rick Ross? I get those
it's
two
one
guys
of those
mixed
guys. It's
up.
one of those guys. I think it's Rick Ross.
The big bearded guy. that guy to me really saved Johnny Cash's sound, and like it's like fucking he knew that dude wasn't going to be around much longer. It's like,
well, Johnny Cash also knew
that
he wasn't going to be around.
Make
so
some of the
longer.
best music you've made
like,
since the fucking '60s.
He
man.
put out a shitload of records before he died, and then there was still
And he
more.
went back and redid some songs.
There
too,
was
made
still
them
more
better.
to come out after he died, and he did all of that. And like June Carter died, and then
He died just a couple months later.
he died a couple months later. And you know what was bullshit? Johnny Cash was up for the MTV award
Yeah.
with Justin Timberlake, and Timberlake wins.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even give any kind of props to fucking Johnny Cash.
Fuck you, Justin
Yeah.
Timberlake.
But see, that's it. But yeah, back to our subject. It's, you know, it's dependent on what level these people do drugs
Yeah.
and drink. You know, there's
'Cause
some
you
that.
got
There's some that can handle it.
Well, I
you
mean,
got-
it's everything in moderation. You can do it enough to expand your mind.
Yeah.
Some people, like Jimi Hendrix, you know that motherfucker was strung out on everything. Cocaine,
had his acid tabs. in his
acid
head,
tabs. I
man.
mean, listen to the music he played. It sounded like an acid trip. But then there's a point when you get to the point when
You
just-
start to feel like you need that stuff to make music.
like,
when it
and
gets
that's
to
when
that
it gets
point,
crappy. Your
what's his
music
name?
sucks.
Fucking Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison. Yeah, he was always high.
Just like, I'll give props to, is it Dean Ween when he left Ween because he said,
Yeah,
I
the drugs.
want to get clean, but
Yeah.
I need
I have to
these
leave
drugs.
Ween to get clean.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause-
I need these drugs to make some Ween music, and I want to get clean. So I can respect somebody for that, because if it becomes a necessity to make your music, if you feel like you need the drugs to make your music, maybe you're doing it a little too
Yeah,
much.
because I mean,
Yeah.
drugs is part of. I mean, look at every band. Every band like has albums where they talk about how the band were great, then like Korn, they were great. Then all of a sudden, the drinking, the drugs, and the fighting.
And I
then
would
the bands
say-
get sucky, and then they
'cause
hate
they
each other.
were-
They get the recovery songs.
Korn was serious on fucking coke and fucking alcohol when they were recording Freak on a Leash. And they said they would just send people out to buy big ass 8 balls of coke and bring it back to the studio, man. And like when I listened to Freak on a Leash, I'm like, this is like some of the fucking most awesome,
Dark.
drugged out shit
Yeah.
I fucking heard, man. Even to this day, like I loved it more when I was a teenager.
Yeah, those were, what was his name? Monkey or Head?
Head.
It was Head. He was a great guitar player.
Yeah, and he
Making
left.
weird sounds.
just weird
He
ass
left
shit.
to find
But
God.
the drugs, you saw what happened. It led to the point where Head left, Monkey left. They got tired of the fighting, the drug use.
The drummer left.
I mean, everyone left, and now they all have like songs where they talk about they're all recovering, and that's one thing you notice where the music got crappier and crappier, and now it's starting to get better again, but it'll never be the same because
Yeah.
it's like they're burnt out. It's over.
Yeah.
But every band, unless you're like some Christian bands, they all have problems because they get popular. Well, now they're popular, so the other parties, they party, they do drugs and drink. And it's fun at first, the music gets better, and then the point is they don't stop. They keep doing more and more to the point to where now it's ruining the music.
Now, with some bands that do drugs and make some of the best music of their career, when they decide to get clean, does that make their music shitty sometimes? And because I will say,
Well, who do we know that's
Well, I mean,
gotten clean
take
and
Nine
still
Inch
makes
Nails,
music?
for
They're
instance.
one.
because
He put out the most music in such a short span of
Yeah.
time, and that it
after
makes
he
it
got clean,
it makes it seem like he didn't need the drugs.
Yeah,
or he
that's-
was
that-
using
it
that
was-
as his drugs.
It was
That's
the
what I'm
idle
getting
hands
to.
thing. It was one of the idle hands things. He was no longer doing drugs and drinking. Well, now
he's got to make.
he did music to keep himself from doing drugs and drinking. It kept him
And-
busy, and it helped get him sober. And of course, that's when
And then he started beefing up and shaved his head.
Yeah, and what's really cool with Nine Inch Nails is like their first several albums when he was a drug addict are really fucking good as far as drugged up music goes, and then he cleaned himself up and does With Teeth, and it's so different. It sounds like Nine Inch Nails, but you can hear through the music that he's not on drugs anymore. And then, but that also, at the same time, like you said, it allowed him to,
There is no pee, there is only
Yeah.
poo.
there is no pee, there is only poo. So he does Year Zero and fucking Ghosts and The Slip, and Year Zero and Ghosts are some of the most amazing shit that he had put out in a long, long time. And then the new fucking album, the new album is just a fucking amazing.
Fantastic.
And it's sort of crazy because a lot of people say, oh, when they quit doing drugs, they start to suck, which is true in some cases. But
Here's a question: is Marilyn Manson doing drugs?
Probably.
Like he has to be.
Well,
he was doing drugs heavily
In the beginning, but right now it seems like he's cleaned up. That's why his music
he
sucks.
actually, it really probably is because you got to remember, like you said, I told Travis we were talking earlier. He's going to have a recurring role in Sons of Anarchy now.
Yeah,
because
I've noticed that.
His mother died. He's trying to clean himself up because he feels he wants to make his parents proud of him now. So he is trying to make. Yeah, no, it's all sweet. So I'm probably going to watch a couple episodes to see how he does in that show.
You know, he was the Peter Pan Shadow.
Shadow's
Yeah,
voice.
they barely used him on
He's
that
actually
shit.
been in a lot of things. That
Barely
nobody knows.
fucking used him. He
Did
would
he
have
whisper?
like, yeah, it was a whispery kind of. You could tell it was
The
Marilyn
Marilyn
Manson.
Manson singing.
But I was like, if you're gonna get Marilyn Manson to fucking voice Peter Pan Shadow,
Gotta give him some
use
parts.
that shit instead of one episode you might see him
He
for a
should have
second.
been the fucking Mad Hatter.
Yeah,
Hell,
right.
He should have been fucking Willy Wonka.
Yeah,
that'd
that
have been
would've
great.
Yeah, that would be fucking wild.
But that would have came out if Tim Burton made it in the 90s.
Yeah, it
And
had
I would say-
it
I would
had
say
been more
if-
drugged out version.
Yeah.
If Marilyn Manson was still on drugs heavily throughout his career, the drugs kind of made him shitty. He started off really fucking good. Then after Hollywood, if he was still doing drugs for Golden Age of Grotesque
He kept
and
doing it too
onward,
much,
it's
it
like,
got
dude,
worse.
you need to do something.
Dog
man.
digger buzz
You got a
buzz,
problem.
sing it his ass.
I love that. It's like Golden Age of Grotesque is one of those albums that like I forget that I actually like it
Yeah.
until I put it in. I'll be like,
That
yeah.
album sucks.
And then I'll put it in, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I like this song."
I remember
okay.
when I brought it over, we listened to it. That shit
Yeah.
was great. It's like that was the peak of him, and then after that, it's just been downhill.
To me, it was more like Hollywood was the peak, and then Golden Age was like,
Plateaued.
what do I do now?
Yeah.
What do I do now?
It was a good follow-up, but it didn't have like...
Yeah, it wasn't really.
it wasn't even the same as Hollywood. It was completely
it
different.
the music sounds a lot like later years KMFDM because of Tim Skold all over it. Like you can hear Tim Skold's DNA all in that shit. Fucking like it sounds like some MDFMK. It sounds like the last couple KMFDM albums with Skold on them. Like that album sounds like Tim Skold and Marilyn Manson trying to do KMFDM.
Yeah, but like with the drugs, you know, especially when it's on stage, like when he nailed John 5 and pissed him off on stage, you know he was stoned and he didn't even care. He was getting on, he was ripping
Was
into
that when he raped the fucking cop on stage almost? Or, like,
What? I remember, yeah, there was one time he started like grinding up
He's
on this
grinding
cop.
Well, he did that to him. He did that to fucking Twiggy. He did it to everyone. He pissed everyone off because it.
See, that's a question you got to ask yourself about Twiggy. Why did you go back? Because your career sucked that much
Money.
that you had to go back to Marilyn
Money.
Manson.
Yeah.
Like when when he left Marilyn Manson, Twiggy was doing cool shit.
He went to Murder Dolls.
Yeah, he was in Murder
Murder
Dolls,
Dolls.
and he was doing shit with Queens of the Stone Age.
And now he's with
Now he's back with Manson.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when he got back with Manson, he made some of the worst fucking music they ever did. Like, I was so excited for that new Marilyn Manson CD that had fucking Twiggy on it. I was like, maybe...
Talking about Born Villain?
Yeah, no, the one before that.
Oh, yeah, he
Oh,
did.
High and
The High and
Low.
Low. I was like,
Low.
maybe,
Yeah, that's when
maybe
he
this will
came
be
back.
pretty good.
After
And then,
Heart-
nope.
Heart-shaped glasses and on just sucked and sucked and sucked.
I didn't even care to listen to that album when it came out.
Now,
I still
speaking
haven't
of-
That's probably Marilyn Manson quitting doing drugs and now trying to clean up.
All right, now take bands like during the psychedelic era.
Oh, that's
Now, that's music that,
Woodstock era.
yeah, the psychedelic music, I will say, is almost better when you're high.
I mean, here's a great fucking example of drugs make the musician better. The fucking Beatles.
Oh,
Yeah, I will agree
But
with
I mean,
that.
you gotta look at a point though. It works for a while, but after a while, it's like you said, when you start building a tolerance to drugs, now you gotta do
Yeah.
harder and harder, more and more.
But see, that's
And
the
then
thing.
You're
Beatles broke up.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
quit.
So-
They quit when they were ahead.
Yeah, they got smart.
Well, the Beatles broke up, but John Lennon and Yoko Ono still did their own fucking
Yeah,
thing.
and that's why you get that weird ass shit. with
Their fucking music together is something.
You gotta be high to
Oh my
listen to that
God.
shit.
Maybe that's
dude.
why somebody killed him.
No, it's
They got
because he
tired
read
of that
Catcher in a Rye and it told him to kill John Lennon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
guy was high. See, he did. That's somebody doing too much drugs. Also,
Yeah.
moderation is
Like,
the key.
think about it. In the beginning, the Beatles were all fucking
They were just your. They were.
sappy radio love songs.
Yeah, they were your
Hell yeah.
teenage fodder when they first
Yeah,
came
and
out.
then fucking Rubber Soul, they get a little more experimental, and then Revolver a little more experimental, and then fucking
the
Sgt.
drugs start
Pepper,
kicking
and they're
in.
like, dude,
They're doing-
like that's the big
They're
question.
doing
Like, what-
acid, cocaine.
oh my God, Sgt. Pepper in that time.
Yeah, that's an amazing album.
My Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, Yellow Submarine is wild. Like, that shit
Yeah.
is just. It's,
Especially that fucking movie. Who the fuck came up with those characters?
seriously.
Like, you would have to be on some fucking serious drugs to create some shit like that.
That's what you said. Like when they started, they probably were clean cut, straight edge, teeny boppers. And then they started smoking pot, probably doing.
They got with
coke,
Bob Dylan, and Bob Dylan's like, hey.
Trust an assassin.
Yeah.
Oh my God, colors! I can see the music coming out of your guitar. Keep playing.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I can totally agree with that. The drugs made the Beatles better, and
it also made the Beach Boys better.
yeah,
Because if it wasn't for the
Oh.
drugs, you wouldn't have Pet Sounds.
that is the truth. That is the truth.
You wouldn't have no Good Vibrations or fucking. What is that one song? Wouldn't it be nice if
Oh, yeah.
we were younger, older?
Oh man.
Brown.
So like, okay, now with the psychedelic music and all that, that music was just pretty much made on drugs for drugs.
Exactly.
Like when you had big concerts, like take the Grateful Dead for instance. You know,
fucking Woodstock. That's
Yeah,
like the
take
big
all of
drug
Woodstock.
concert of them all.
yeah, I mean it was all they would
Don't take the green acid.
like because there's a lot of jokes within the jam band community that all people who listen to jam bands are stoners, and that's kind of true because the Grateful Dead
Same with jazz.
started that. Oh, we'll get on jazz in a moment. The Grateful Dead kind of started that with the weed and everybody, because their music would be sort of easy listening, little jazz, a little fucking, a little rock, a little soft stuff, just a bunch of different genres thrown together, and then they would get into these long jam moments where when you're high, it fucking sounds good. And take Fish's live stuff for instance.
Big
You're
hippie scene.
you're playing You Enjoy Myself for like 30 fucking minutes. If you're not high, you might get a little bored with that, unless you're somebody who just really likes to listen to jammy music, which thank
Now-
God I do, because I fucking
Yeah.
love those songs.
When you're high,
so
you can
good.
listen to the same 4 chords over and over, and it's great. But when you're sitting there and you're not, it's like, it's just like grating on your
That
brain.
was one of the greatest jokes I've ever heard in My Name is Earl. And the
Yeah.
guy's like, your weed sucks! I listened to an entire Fish album, and it sucked!
Yeah, dude. I was like, oh, that's fucking hilarious. That's hilarious.
I listened to an entire Fish album, and it sucked.
Because my favorite stuff to listen to is like prog rock and jam bands.
Oh, did
When
you
I'm
check out
stoned.
that fucking band I was...
Yes.
Yeah,
sent
we-
you a
we
link
checked
to?
them out today.
That is awesome art today.
It sort of reminds me of Mars Volta a little bit.
We started finding other stuff while we are doing it.
Hail the Sun,
Yes.
pretty fucking
They
cool.
fucking... I unlocked that song on Rocksmith. I thought I already fucking unlocked all the songs in there. I've got like 28 things left to unlock out of like fucking 500 shit.
Yeah.
But that song comes up and I'm like, sweet, a new song. And my next mission was play a new song. I'm like, awesome, I'm gonna check out this new song. And I fucking played it. I'm like, dude, like I've already mastered it on bass. I can't play it without the game right now because I have to play a little more to understand it. But I don't know about the guitar.
Yeah.
That might be a little difficult there.
So now, where the fuck was I at? All right, take the jazz music for instance. when jazz was first coming out, a lot of those fucking guys were on heroin. A lot of great fucking jazz musicians of the early days died from heroin overdoses. Now, would you say, in a way, isn't music and drugs sort of go hand in hand? And
Yeah.
obviously, in a way, the drugs help silence the music. I mean, if you do too much, you're gonna fucking die.
That's how it starts.
Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, fucking
Kurt
Jim
Cobain.
Morrison. Yeah, you're just it's one of, like you said, moderation is the key, you know. But some people, they just can't fucking
Well, yeah, that's
control
weird
it,
because
man.
when you start, most of these bands are cleaner. They're clean cut. Then they start doing the drugs because of the partying, and then their music gets more experimental and people enjoy it and they love it. And so they try to reach the next big thing. Well, they got to do more drugs and more drugs. Then it reaches a point to where either the band either stop doing the drugs, and now times they'll get crappy and they'll clean up and they'll get better. They get crappy, never recover, they're forgotten, or they die. They die at the peak of their careers. It's just there's no level. The most probably I'd say like 90% of bands, there's no level where they maintain the right amount, maybe right amount of drug use, partying with music.
Flaming Lips.
Yeah.
Flaming Lips. That's what I'm saying. There's some that can maintain because they're not overdoing it. They don't.
And then, like, there's people who make amazing music who don't do or didn't do drugs, like Frank Zappa. That dude, he called druggies assholes in action, and and he made some of the most drugged up sounding fucking music. And I'm gonna say right now, when I was smoking a lot of weed, it did allow me to.
Hell, we used to play some crazy shit back in the day.
It allowed me to.
Fortunately, we could remember it.
It allowed me to leave my comfort zone of just playing heavy metal guitar.
Yeah.
And me and Zach start doing Cheddar Pond. And, but now that I've quit, I've sort of kept those same ideas, and I'm like, I'm going to do anything and everything. And not. The weed kind of helped me open my mind and expand it a lot more. And I quit weed, but I still make music that sounds like it's made high.
And see that's where it is. It's like say for instance, you got a medical condition, you have anxiety problems. You give you medication. Well, you take it for a few months, and you stop taking medication. You're still good because you've already instilled that where you've made yourself better. It's mind over matter. Now you don't need the drugs to do it anymore. It's just some people can't separate the drugs from the music, and then that's when everything goes to shit.
Yeah.
Like you separated the drugs from music. Because I know we used to play some crazy shit. We just jammed back in the day. And unfortunately, we didn't have no way of recording it because some of it was some pretty great stuff. Yeah. And then some like your starting lyrics when we first started making music. Some of that was some crazy lyrics we'd write.
I remember back in the day when
there was like a garage band.
You would be at work and Josh would come over and me and him would jam for hours, just coming up with shit. And then we're like, wait till Travis gets home. We'll show him what we played, and we're like,
damn it!
Oh fuck! I think it goes like this.
We can never remember.
And Josh is like, ding, ding, ding. And I'm like, dude,
we lost it.
I mean, because Cheddar Pond was something that needed weed to be able to be thought of, and now I was worried for a second because we stopped doing Cheddar Pond for a while because we had to. I like to joke saying we had to become better musicians because we had no idea what we wanted it to sound like. We would
in the beginning we said it's going to be like Mars Volta.
Yeah,
bullshit.
Me and Zach would get high and go in the studio, and we would just sit there and be like, well, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? What do we want to do?
The only time we ever actually did something was the Mr. Glute and fucking Brownbeard song.
Yeah, the Brownbeard
Those were the
song.
ones we actually went in there and were like, this is what we want, this is what it needs to sound like, let's do it.
Yeah, the first song I ever wrote and recorded while high was Razor Blade Shampoo, which was like the first song we ever made for Cheddar Pond, and that was a basis.
That was before Vingard had a name.
Yeah, that was like okay, we're on to something now. What is this album gonna sound like? And so then we did Mr. Glute, we got stoned and we did the Butt Pirate song, and we did Mr. Frizzleby.
Mr. Frizzleby came first.
Yeah.
That came before
Yeah.
Razorblade.
Yeah, the music came first, and we had it. It was just collecting dust in the
Yeah.
recorder until I finally went in there and smoked a little weed and just started shouting what I was picturing. Like, I did not write those lyrics down. When I just started saying shit based
Mr.
off
Frizzleby.
of, yeah. But now, you know, I don't smoke anymore, and I was worried last summer when we started getting into the studio. I was like, am I gonna be able to think of crazy shit without getting high?
I mean, yeah, because
And-
Because you already have the idea now.
Yeah, and
like
I
there's
would
times
say-
where I would come over here and record with you, and I don't smoke before I come over.
Mhm. And I would say that, you know, without me being high, we've came up. A lot of the new songs we've made for Cheddar Pond are a million times better than the ones we
now,
made to
now you
begin
can
with.
focus. Now you got a clearer idea what you want. And sometimes when you're
lyrics are
stoned, you come
better.
out with some stupid shit.
In fact, the lyrics that we've written on these newer songs kind of fix the mess ups in the lyrics we had in earlier songs. We was able to take the songs that sort of really didn't know where they were going, and we were able to make new songs that sort of help give those earlier songs context. And I wouldn't say it's all because I don't smoke weed anymore. I'm going to say it's because we gave it a 5 to 6 year break.
And we sat on it for the
Yeah, we
longest time,
sat
just
on it
thinking
for
about
a long time.
You got a clearer focus on it.
And then
Yeah.
while we sat on it, we told that story to millions of fucking people. And while we told the story, we knew how it needed to sound.
Yeah.
Like, we are, you know, we had the beginning, middle, and end already thought out.
Mm-hmm.
And then when people listen to a couple of our songs and they're like, is this a story? Like, especially our Uncle Tim, when he listened to it, and he's like, so where's the story go from here? And I told him, and then he got into it like crazy. He was like, you need to make this a trilogy like God of War. And I said, well, we've already kind of thought of a sequel where it's like Vingars in the Garden of Garbage, and he fucking jumped on that, and he's like, dude. So it's like, I find it cool as shit that we don't even have it finished, but there are people or our friends are like anticipating.
Yeah,
this.
there's a little bit of
Big,
hype
like, I
over
wanna
this
hear
album.
this.
There's a little bit of hype over this album. Like I was telling the hippie kid at the tobacco store about it, and he's like, "Fucking dude, I want to hear this. I want to fucking hear this, man."
But I love it when I was letting Militia listen to it. She's like, I let her listen to like 5 or 6 songs in, and I'm like, so what do you think? I didn't tell her what it was about. I'm like, so what do you think it's about? She goes like, is it about like the government pushing everyone around, and just how everything is bullshit, media, blah blah blah? And I'm like, yeah, but with crabs.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, it is kind of like that, but
Pretty much. I mean, yeah.
but with crabs.
Seriously. But even after, you know, some of the last songs that I wrote, I mean, shit, that entire Christmas album we did is made of drugs. Every song on that album was made high. High as shit.
I don't know about David's stuff.
Yeah,
I know Joey's definitely.
Yeah, Joey's,
I
everything
know
on
the
that.
only one I did on the Christmas album was that fucking tribal drum thing.
And the Too Tall's Lonely Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's a Sticky Middle Finger song. It's
Yeah.
part of the Mitch Lloyd Chronicles. I can't do Mitch Lloyd Chronicles by myself. So I gotta have you on Mitch Lloyd Chronicles.
You don't need to call those sticky middle finger. Just call them something different.
So, alright. With Cheddar Pond being born of drugs, and then drugs kind of stopped, like, you know, the lyrics got better, the story became more clear, we're pretty much almost finished with it. We have 3 more songs to record. In fact, we wrote the last 3 songs yesterday. And it's, I've recorded random songs in between in the past couple of years. In fact, the only things that we have recorded in the past year is stuff for Cheddar Pond. But before that, I went in the studio and was recording all the Leroy songs and just a bunch of random shit to sort of...
Yeah, because we finally got back on Cheddar Pond last year.
Yeah, last summer. Because, like, I wasn't comfortable, man, when we were first doing it. I was like, I don't know what this is going to sound like. I'm not I'm not a. At that time, I was a passable musician. I was like,
We were adequate.
yeah, I was
Not
like,
even
you know,
really adequate.
I was too stuck with my heavy metal guitar ways, and that's all I knew. And I had to be like, I need to learn some real shit. I need to fucking.
And then when you got laid off, you fucking YouTubed some shit.
Yeah, when I got laid off, I was like, let me learn different styles. And I mean, because I could play a little bit of Spanish guitar.
Cause see, what was funny is that before that you were like, I can play everything.
Yeah.
I can play everything.
I was a stupid ass snob before I really sat the fuck down and said, you know what, I need to be a better musician. Because this is what I like to tell everybody. You know, once you realize you are not the smartest person in the room, you can do anything, and you can learn anything. And I mean, it's because it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not smart. It just means you're smart with what you know.
Yeah, just once you get over your ego,
Yeah.
you can do it.
Once you realize, okay, I know what I know. What else can I know?
Exactly.
You become a better musician. And
That's one thing that I'll give the bass player to Aerosmith props. That motherfucker said in an interview on Bass Player that he's still learning today.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
you know, it's a never.
Motherfucker's been in a rock band for over 40, 50 years, and he's still practicing bass.
Yeah, it's a never.
That is some inspirational
thing,
shit right
yeah,
there.
Yeah, exactly. It's a never-ending thing, and I had a big problem with like my first 10 to 13 years of playing guitar was, you know, I'm so badass, and it's like, no, I'm not. I'm not fucking badass, you know.
I can play the guitar like a motherfucking right.
I do what I do, man.
Gator.
That's what I tell everybody, you know, is like, continue to learn and don't fucking become full of yourself.
What I can't stand is when someone sees you with an acoustic guitar. That's a cowboy guitar. Can you also play electric? No, because that is a foreign instrument.
You get some dumb ass questions from some people who don't know.
Well, which is harder to learn? Acoustic or electric?
Oh my!
I don't know,
God.
man. They're both foreign instruments. They're completely different. Oh my God, I have no idea. Like
Dude,
fucking tambourine and triangle, completely different things.
Tell them. Yeah, man. It's like learning a different language, man. Seriously. How about
It's like trying to write with your left hand.
Yeah, how about say, dude, it's the same language, just a different dialect. But yeah, I mean,
Or maybe a different accent.
yeah, there you go, exactly. That's a better analogy of electric and acoustic. And you know, a lot of the music we would make high, you know, was fun. And I'm happy because I was worried. Like I said, I was worried. I was like, will I not be able to come up with weird shit and just shit I like to do when I'm not high? And I haven't had any problems. In fact, like Josh said, I'm more focused. And it wasn't that I wasn't focused before. It's just I would get too damn high to do anything.
Yeah, 'cause you're like,
Or you would get so high and then you'd be like,
I just
I
want
want to go do this.
Yeah.
Or it's like, no, I just want to get some Taco Bell and then we're gonna watch some TV and then go to sleep.
Exactly. And like, you know, I have a lot of respect for people who don't smoke and people who do smoke. But I like to tell people, if you're gonna smoke, be productive. You know, don't sit around all day just chiefing it up. And,
Video games.
And yeah, don't fucking waste your time. You know, because weed is a mind-altering substance that, you know, you could be able to tap into something you never thought you could do. And it's possible. So if you're going to smoke weed, don't waste your time. Be productive. Do something. I mean, all of our original first episodes up until last year, I was high as shit. Reading my fucking lines, doing the monster character. I'm high as a motherfucker. I would smoke, I would hit the bong in between takes. I'm stoned as shit on all of those episodes. I was stoned as shit during the
Hell, there
writing
was some
process.
that we would have to cut out because you'd be coughing or some shit.
Yeah, I would be stoned as shit during the writing process. I would be stoned as shit while editing, which...
Hell, some of the commentary, that's the whole point of the commentaries, was we were supposed to get high and watch the commentaries.
Yeah, you know, and so now I can't really get high because I don't want to fucking die.
fucking die.
But so I mean, it's one of those things. It's cool. This kind of conversation here is cool because we've sort of experienced it. You know, not on a giant, massive scale like bands, because I don't know if I could be high and play my music in front of like thousands of people.
I can't get high and play my music because when I get high and play music, I jam.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't play one straightforward song. I fucking jam, dude. Whatever. It doesn't even have to be a real song. It can just be a scale, and you just fuck around with that scale, and you're like, dude, this sounds so good.
You know what's funny? Travis thinks if he smokes, he's gonna die. He'd be the first person to die of marijuana. You know, more people die of peanut poisoning than marijuana.
Well, I mean, when I have those attacks, I feel like I'm dying.
Yeah, you're having a panic attack is what you're having.
And
I know, they suck. I've had them before, too.
And it's weird, because I had been smoking weed like 10 years straight, and then boom, just it triggered something. Kyle tells me that it's because I did acid those couple times, and that since the acid didn't do anything to me when I first did acid, that the acid stayed in my brain and fucked with me later.
It could have.
You never
Like, that
know,
is a thing. Like, they say it, like, sits on your spine, and then, like, something can trigger it.
Yeah,
maybe like a bump or something, or a car wreck. Something like that can trigger it, but I haven't heard anyone say that in fucking 15 years.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, marijuana is a sedative. And like other drugs are usually uppers or downers, marijuana is a sedative. It actually calms you down. So it can be messing with something in your brain that's not... Because we all have cannabinoid receptors in our brains. Our brains are wired for THC.
Yeah.
Your brain's fucked up. His brain's misfired.
Yeah.
He smoked himself stupid.
Pretty much. Pretty much. And I'll tell you too, when I would get high and I'd be in the studio, you know, I would be trying to fuck with the levels and turning the recorder on and all that. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what. I just stare at the shit. I'd be like, what button do I hit? I hit this button. Do I hit that? No, I don't. I hit this button.
I remember those times. Because there was times where I'm like, what are you doing? I would just run over there and fucking press record. Run back behind the drums. Like, god damn it. I just want to fucking record it.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I love to listen to music high, but now when I can listen to any music not high and enjoy it as much as I did while high. You know, I know you still smoke weed a lot, and I mean, I haven't listened to. I mean, I have a lot of albums that I've bought in the past year that I'm like, oh, I want to get so stoned and listen to this, but
I will say, Lonely Island is not a good band to listen to high.
yeah, okay, let's talk about that. What kind of bands sound worse when you're high?
Now, see, I wouldn't say Lonely Island sounds worse. It's just, you already know the joke, so it's not funny. And you're not paying attention to the lyrics that you didn't hear before, so that 2-minute joke isn't going to be funny. So,
yeah.
I mean, in a way, comedy records aren't good high. Because you already know the joke.
I can agree
Unless
with that.
it's the first time you heard it. Because I will say I listened to Rise of the Phoenix from Tenacious D.
Yeah.
High.
Yeah.
The first time I heard it, that was fucking amazing and hilarious.
Yeah. When the first time I listened to that, I was stoned as fuck.
And you fucking loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in a way, for me, it was like... when I first listened to it, it was like, you know, I pictured the story, everything they're saying. It's like, this is where they are after the Pick of Destiny, the movie come out and shit. And I loved that they gave it a story like, our movie failed and shit. So it was like... I don't know, it's like I pictured this whole Tenacious D follow-up movie in my head.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was listening to that album, and it was fucking perfect.
What the fuck is that?
It's in the Bible.
You know you're really high when you roll your friend into a joint. Oh, okay.
There's pictures of the Bible where they wrap people in a cloth. It's like
Now, all right. Let's talk
Bands
about
that aren't good when you're high.
Kid Rock.
Kid Rock isn't good, period.
Devil Without a Cause. I was actually, getting ready for these new metal episodes. I was listening to Devil Without a Cause, because that's the only Kid Rock album I own, and I was like, damn, this
Do
is
you want the
pretty
others?
damn good, huh?
Do you want more?
No. I was like,
'Cause you have Cocky.
no, I don't.
You did.
I did.
Well, I have Cocky.
There was a song or two on there that I really liked.
I have The
song
History
about
of
Beam Me Up,
Rock.
Scotty.
History of Rock,
From
Cocky.
Detroit to New Orleans. I love life, but I never.
That
sold
was
my
when he
soul.
got fucking country.
And that wasn't bad. I liked his southernness mixed with the rap rock. But on Cocky, there was just a couple songs. that I
Cocky
liked.
was fucking
The
Leonard
rest of it
Skinner
I
featuring
hated.
Kid Rock.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. So what else? What else doesn't sound? A lot of ICP doesn't sound good high, but then a lot of ICP does sound good high. Like what do you call it? The Violent J Smoke record.
That is
Like,
great. That is great
that's-
high.
This is the best concept album
Homies
ICP
to smoke
ever did.
with.
Um,
That's one of the best ones to smoke high.
And like I was saying earlier, a lot of Marilyn Manson isn't good to listen to high, especially after Smells Like Children. It just gets annoying. Some things get annoying when you're
Well, it's
high.
like watching TV. Comedies and cartoons are great. You don't want to watch a scary movie high.
No.
Or a drama high. But you want to watch things that are funny that are high.
Or maybe a thriller. I do appreciate thrillers high.
I was like when we saw Mr. Brooks, I was
Yes.
so fucking stoned.
That
I
movie
forgot
was
we were
great.
even watching Mr.
Probably don't want to
Brooks
watch Thriller high.
when Mr. Brooks, because like there was this like side plot of like these cops looking for this dude, and I remember when it was getting into that part, I forgot all about the Mr. Brooks shit, and I'm watching. I'm like, what the fuck movie are we watching?
Now,
What is this?
I
And
will
then
say,
Kevin Costner comes back, and I was like, oh yeah, we're watching Mr. Brooks.
yeah. What is it? I don't like listening to The Offspring high.
Yeah, that's
They're not a good band to listen to high, but their music videos are perfect when you're stoned.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're bright and colorful. Some are black and white. Some have flashing lights and a bunch of fucking bullshit going on. And then you have the video for The Kids Aren't Alright.
Yeah, that's a wild fucking
That
video.
fucking... the girl pulls her ass apart and Dexter's head comes out of there and says some shit like...
You know, when you think about
That
it, little
video's
children
fucked
and
up.
babies love cartoons with lots of colors and bright things. What if being a baby is like being high all the time? Everything you see is like, woo.
No wonder they're always getting in the fridge and making a mess.
Damn babies.
And I'll tell you, I don't like listening to Kiss high, but
Oh, that's horrible.
I was high as shit when I was listening to music from The Elder, getting ready for our very
Kiss
first
Sing
episode,
Christmas.
and I was like, this is the best Kiss album to listen to high. But I'm like, I want to turn
Psycho
on.
Circus?
No, music
No.
from The Elder.
Oh, okay, but
That's probably the best Kiss album to listen to high.
just a boy. Wait, don't you have
The only Kiss albums I have on CD is their first album. I have Hotter Than
You
Hell.
don't have Psycho Circus.
You
Then I
used to
have-
have Psycho Circus?
Yeah, I used to. I pawned that shit a long
Because I had
time
Psycho
ago,
Circus. And he got
Yeah, I need to get it again because I really enjoyed Psycho Circus.
Damn.
Yeah.
You're probably looking at it like, fuck this, I don't listen to Kiss.
I don't even know what happened
I want
to
no
my
Kiss in
Psycho
my
Circus.
CD collection.
That was back, Jesus Christ, a good.
Because you used to have the fucking Symphony Kiss and a bunch of live ones
Yeah,
and shit.
I had a Live 3 and I had a Live 4, which was the Symphony Kiss. That wasn't bad. I actually enjoyed the Symphony Kiss album because I like Metallica's S&M. I like hearing previously record or older band music mixed with an orchestra because it sort of gives you a different feel. It's almost a novelty thing because it's like I'd rather go and listen to the older stuff again. But yeah, I mean, what else isn't good high? I mean, this Blink-182 album isn't good high.
I mean,
No Blink-182 album is good high or
You
sober.
could sort of take a dart and throw it, and you'll probably hit something that's not going to sound good high. I mean, it's like a 50-50 shot. And you'll find stuff, because then there'll be songs that sound good high and some don't.
Cradle of Filth isn't really good to listen to high.
Yeah, it's too fast and too
Yeah,
heavy.
it's just way too.
Slipknot isn't good to listen to.
Well, you,
high.
True that.
you pretty much don't want to listen to any metal high, because it's just too...
Well, prog
first-
metal is good.
Yeah,
see, that's
prog
different.
metal-
Well, it's because it's still progressive.
Yeah.
It's still prog. But see, you got to think, with like...
The first couple corns are really good high from
'Cause, yeah, they're kinda
Korn to
laid
Freak
back.
on a Leash are good high. Life is Peachy is really good high.
Okay, I mean
um,
heavy metal then.
Yeah, 'cause
heavy
I can't-
black death metal.
I can
Thrash metal, no.
Thrash metal,
Yeah.
you know, anything with heavy guitar, heavy fast music is not good.
I can get high
Unless you're
and
doing,
listen to power metal.
Like ecstasy. Then
Power
maybe-
metal's awesome.
And then if you're doing ecstasy, maybe you can do some X. You're like, yeah, just going beat
No,
some
that would
head
be
style.
cocaine. Cocaine and meth. That would be your metal music.
like
doing some
Iron
beats and
Maiden is
butthead
good high. I love electronica music high.
Iron Maiden's great high.
Yeah, especially which fucking one is this? Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. That's a great album high.
Coming
2
down the
minutes to
mountain.
midnight.
Oh, you got that fucking album?
Yeah, this one.
What? That's
Cool.
not the cover.
Or is that song on
No.
Son of a Seventh Son of a Seventh Son? Actually, I think I might be wrong. I haven't listened to it in a long time. Yeah, I've only got 3 Iron Maiden albums.
Weird. He's got
I've only
apple
got
for a
one.
heart.
That newer one.
Yeah, the one that came out in 2010. It's like a fucking concept album of Eddie going to space or some shit. I don't fucking know.
Eddie goes to space. I mean, I wrestled a barrel once. It's good to listen to high, but it has to be in a moderation.
Rock opera's a pretty cool high.
Yes.
Yeah, which will be the next episode is rock operas. But I mean, I like Rammstein high. Okay, Typo Negative I love high.
Yeah, they did their shit high. They were drunk all the time.
I mean,
Anything reggae sounds good.
Yeah, ska music is great.
Jazz
high.
Reggae's
Sounds
all
good.
about getting high.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Anything easy listening to will be good high.
Not adult contemporary.
Well, adult contemporary sucks anyway.
P.O.D. I couldn't listen to high. Permanent
You don't like it,
5000,
period. So it's,
yeah.
it wouldn't matter.
I love White Zombie high and Rob Zombie a little high.
White Zombie was good.
Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
Beastie Boys is great high.
Gorillaz.
Yeah, Gorillaz is awesome
Well,
high.
yeah, anything electronic, anything kind of a.
Hip hop. I really like good hip hop high.
Yeah.
Like MF Doom and Del the Funky Homo Sapien. Those guys sound great high.
The Roots.
Yeah, the Roots are awesome
Dr.
when you're
Dre.
high. Dr. Dre is cool when you're high.
I mean, hell, that's what the whole damn
It's the
album was
Chronic,
about.
man.
Yeah, the fucking Chronic, dude.
The Chronic Chronicles.
And so, all right. I mean, have we exhausted everything we can talk about as far as musicians?
I'm
drugs?
trying to think of other bands I can't listen to high.
Well, there's probably a lot.
Do 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 do. The Jeopardy theme.
You know what is cool listening high? Classical music.
Classical music is pretty cool.
You'd
high.
swear Beethoven, Mozart, they were probably doing some morphine or some shit when they were fucking doing this shit.
They were smoking opium, I bet.
Yeah, do a little opium, some hashish. So that bad hash from Baghdad.
They've been doing them dabs.
Il Nino sucks high.
El Nino sucks anyways.
Yeah. Like, we cannot.
No,
make it
man.
better.
You know what's the best thing to listen to high? Nickelback.
Oh, fuck that. Fuck
How
that.
about some party rock guys?
Hoobastank.
Oh, I forgot about that bullshit.
See,
Oh,
I haven't forgot about that because they still play that bullshit song on the radio.
the reason.
Ding, 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 ding,
The
ding,
ray-
ding, ding.
You know what's fun to listen to high, even though you can't understand? Just pick some like random Mexican music.
Oh yeah, dude. There's sometimes where I'll get stoned as shit.
Put it on the Mexican channel. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
I'll
this is
get to
great.
fucking Telemundo, and I'm just
Yeah,
like,
they got that
I'll
right.
throw the controller down. I'm like,
In the movie Grandma's Boys, they got that right when the old ladies were sitting there watching the Mexican channel. They got that part right. I was like, oh, this is great.
Oh my god.
I got your movie in the car, by the way.
That's cool. It was a great movie.
Yes,
That'd be a good movie high, too.
Oh my god, that movie.
Fuck me in the ass.
That
Cut my ass.
motherfucker. Obi-Wan is sucking Ace Ventura's dick.
Yeah, dude.
On the boat, and he spits. Oh, you don't love me. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's like spits.
Oh my god.
Just that. Oh, you don't love me.
Oh yeah.
That
So,
fucking movie.
I guess that's it.
We'll see you guys in the next 30 audio thing.
Keep smoking.
Yeah, man. And don't forget to check out our videos on YouTube. Check us out on Twitter at Monster FT Studio. And shit.
Like and subscribe, bitches.
Yeah. See, that's the thing I don't like. I see that a lot of people do on their videos is at like the last 2 minutes of their videos is like
Begging for fucking
yeah.
like and comment on my videos and subscribe.
So if they beg, we should threaten.
Yeah.
If you don't fucking like this
Zach's gonna
video,
come to your house and kick you in the nuts.
Boom.
are you the guy that are you so and so that said Monster from the Studio sucks ass and balls?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
start
like-
kicking ass.
Fucking motherfucking Jay and Silent Bob.
We're gonna make you eat this shit.
Yeah.
This made up of our shit.
That's a good movie. High.
Yeah. And we'll leave you on that shit, y'all.